What is up, humans of the cardboard? Welcome back to Just Nuts, guys. Today we are looking at one of my old favorite decks. It is Burning Abyss. I didn't get to play this. Wasn't into Yu-Gi-Oh when this deck actually came around into playability, but originally. But I've been a fan of this deck ever since it's been a trap variant. I think it's such a cool deck. It rotates. It's really grindy. Plays a lot of traps. Plays stuff like Trap Trick, and I love it. I really do. So today I'm showing you this list. I will say 100% this is inspired by Pac. He's been playing it as of recently. I follow him. I watch his stuff, and he's one of those players that gets you excited to play certain things. But the list is slightly different from his variant. Have some different choices on certain cards there. So yeah, let's just get into it. All right. Really cool decks. This is the trap variant for the main decks for the non-BA / like pretty much BA monsters. Double Tour Guide, triple Fiendish Rhino Warrior, and double Backjack. So I really love this ratio, and this is a ratio that like I feel like I almost always wanted when I was playing this deck before. But it's just like it's just one of that, like, I don't want to say sheep mentality, but it's just like there had been this like thought process with and it's just like instilled in everybody's brain. Oh, Tour Guide's a 1-card combo, you play 3 of it. But it's so susceptible to like every hand trap that like you almost don't want to open it. But like if you do, it's fine, obviously, because it either baits a hand trap, or if it resolves, you actually do get really good value. But you almost would rather not open it and search it later on in the duel. And then as you grind, resolve this card later in the duel, and then just run away with advantage. But yeah, so 2's really good. Rhino Warrior is probably the best BA in the deck because it gets you any BA in the deck. So it's like, it's the same reason you want to play like max copies of Squamata and Shadal, because it can get you any utility card you want in the deck, including Backjack, which is really good. So, and I also like double Backjack, but with playing 3 Tour Guide and like 3 of this before, like it felt like too clunky to play like 8 total. So we're only on 7, but this card's insane. I love this card so much. Such a cool card. There's very few cards like Backjack in the game, and I love it. Then we get to the BA monsters. Apologies on the proxies here. For some reason, I don't have a third graph because I'm just a fucking idiot. Double Seer, 1 Libic, triple Scarm. These are like the engine ones for the most part, like the actual engine ones. Yeah, this is pretty good. You want the double Seer in case one does get banished at one point, because you do want to establish that Seer Dante loop. Libic's really good for unbricking certain cards out of the hand while still keeping their effects alive, and then Scarm is like insane. It's like the best BA in this variant, like straight up, because it just gets you Tour Guide later on in the duel, and that's how you like run away with advantage, is you just attempt to like resolve Tour Guide like turn after turn after turn until your opponent just doesn't have a negate for it anymore, and then you just win. Then for the utility ones, we have double copies of Farfa, 1 copy of Alich, and 1 copy of Barbar. I don't think Calcab is fully necessary, to be honest. Although it is one that I think, like, depending on the format, you could definitely play. Yeah, I don't think you need Barbar, but like it does make like time interesting. It means like turn 1 you can just win in time during your main phase, which is cool. But also like sometimes this deck can struggle to close games out depending on the kind of duel. So if you can just find a way to send this for free, you just get to like burn for game potentially. So definitely utility. I also like Alich because some people don't like Alich, but I like it because sometimes you'll like have Farfa in hand, and like so you'll do like, you know, Dynamiscus or Karma Cut or something to send Farfa to trigger his effect for disruption, and you'll still have like a Cherubini or a Fiend Griefing on field, and you need another disruption. So it's nice to have, because they're hard on return, like another one that can still be a solid like Imperm-esque effect. To just get that bonus interruption if you need it later on, or in the same turn. Then we get to the traps, because I'm playing 0 spells, and this is so dumb. Guys, I legitimately spent like 2 hours tonight looking for my Fiend Griefings. I could not find them. They're commons. I know I have them. I just could not find them. So apologies for the proxies there, but I was like, whatever. I'm just taking the L on this. But yeah, 3 Fiend Griefing. You have to play this card. It's insane. It's a solid graveyard disruption that also just gets you a free like send of a BA or Backjack. So it's like the utility for this card is like insane, right? It either becomes like an insane interruption. I'm sending like a Farfa or an Alich on top, on top of getting the shuffle, or it's like an insane engine card where you're like send graph, to summon from deck. Send another Seer from grave, from deck to grave to like reborn a Dante that's like already in grave and like get that loop back online. It's really, really crazy. Or you send Scarm and get a Search for Tour Guide for like an ultimate like follow-up, which is really, really good. This card is insane. You have to play it at 3. Triple Torrential, and that's all I play for the 3 ofs. Torrential is just like by far the most impactful trap we play in the main deck, and like your whole deck floats. So like Torrential's really good because you're like always getting more value off of Torrential than your opponent is. There, and then for the 2 ofs, double Dynamiscus, double Karma Cut, double Lost Wind, double Breakthrough Skill, and then obviously the double Trap Trick. So this is really cool. I just like having this versatility here. Dynamiscus is cool because it doesn't discard as cost. If your opponent does negate it, you don't have to lose that resource from hand necessarily. Karma Cut's really good because it has that higher ceiling. Also, Dynamiscus comes back all the time, so just keep that in mind. But these, so Dynamiscus, so these 2, 4, 6 are all like your good mill targets for like Dante, which is really nice. Breakthrough Skill, just getting you that negate on your turn to help you play through interruptions or something. Is really nice. Lost Wind obviously being able to reset itself. And honestly, there's some part of me that like not only is playing this right now because of Ice Dragon Prison is not like super budget, and I don't own them, but also because like they're just good. Like there's some part of me it's like I don't think Ice Dragon's Prison is like that great in the format. It's not great versus Drytron at all. It's not great versus the Tri-Brigade matchup, unless like there are lines that they can take that like don't make it super easy for that card to be insane, but it can be decent versus them. And then like Virtual World, it's not always amazing, and like it just generally is like okay, it's not amazing right now. So I almost like playing these because they feel like better, and like it actually gives you like really high roll potential off of like Dante. Just increases your potential just having like insane mills. And then by playing 2 Trap Trick, it essentially means you're like all of these are like 4 ofs, and like the 3 ofs are more like 5 ofs. So feels really good. It actually adds a nice bit of consistency to the deck. And for the last part of the main deck is Triple Strike and 1 Imperial Order. I love playing the Strike because we're not playing any hand traps, if you didn't notice. So the way you play going second is set 3+ traps and pass. Well, if you have like Torrential or Dynamiscus, Karma Cut, whatever, combined with Solemn Strike, it really gives you like a strong power play. Like to be able to like activate something, they try to negate it, and then you strike the monster and get that double value there and just break apart their board. And then Imperial Order, again, like we're playing a deck that's like inherently like generally worse than a lot of the decks in the format right now, or maybe not inherently worse, but like slower mainly. And so like this card can just be a blowout, and like hold our opponent off while we like get our engine going and get things steamrolling, which is really good. So yeah, it doesn't have to be in the main. This could be like a 3-0 of like add a 3rd copy of like any of the other traps we have in here, but as like a nasty 1 of, it is just going to let you steal games for free. So 40 cards in the main feels pretty good there. Feel pretty confident with that list there. One thing I will say is like this deck has like very few outs to Dragoon. So I would say like I wouldn't mind it if you played IDP just for the sole fact that it's like a not guaranteed Dragoon out, because obviously if they can hold the negate, then you still can't out it, but like that's just how Dragoon works generally. If they can hold the negate long enough, like you still lose, but still it would be nice to have just as like that guaranteed Dragoon out. But that's really the only thing that I think it's like really good against. All right, into the extra deck, Triple Dante. I don't think Triple Dante is mandatory. I don't have a Downerd Magician, so I'd probably play the 3rd as a Downerd if I had it, so just keep that in mind. 1 Fortune Tune, because you got to play Zeus in this deck. It's really, really nice utility. 1 Beatrice, got to play it, and then obviously the Zeus. So just swap this for a Downerd if you have it. I just don't have one currently, but I would play it. Yeah, really good, just basic, Burning Abyss stuff there. 1 Purple Dante. I think you should play this card. Like, if it feels like so many people just don't want to waste the resources to like out a Beatrice, like without destruction. So a lot of times they just end up running over it. You go into this and then like some decks just like think they can handle it, and then like this plus back row, like they just can't handle it. So wins games for sure. 1 Gravity Controller. This can come up. It doesn't all the time if you play the deck correctly, but it can come up to clear the Dante out of the extra monster zone and get his effect to add back to hand, and that can definitely matter there. 1 Masquerena. This is part of like the basic like tour guide combo. essentially, where you can just like end on this plus Beatrice. So you can like use this, chain the Beatrice on the opponent's turn, get like the utility of whatever you want to send off Beatrice, and go into a unicorn to hit something like, and you're going to trigger the Dante that you had as material off of the Beatrice as well. So really good. Cherubini, this comes up as just a card that allows you to OTK. It's just like a really strong like return card that allows you to link climb on later turns, right? Just send like a graph, get a summon for another seer or something, or a Libic to pull more stuff out of the hand and like just link up and get to like an OTK really easily. Really nice. Phoenix just adds back row, and like this deck does not mind the discard at all. Trisbania could be really cool. So with that same combo where you end on like Beatrice and Masquerena, you can like activate Masquerena, chain Beatrice, sending something like a graph or a seer, and then you summon the Trisbania off of the quick effect Masquerena, and then you summon off of like the seer, the graph, or the Libic or whatever, and then trigger the Trisbania to like wipe back row. So if you're playing its backer deck and you're going first and you did that combo turn 1 and they end up just like setting 3 or 4, you just like win the duel if you resolve this. You're gonna burn them for 25. You have an easy route to like an OTK, or at least the ability to put more pressure, and like you just like you just like, you know, 1 for 3 or 4 them, which is insane. 1 unicorn, this is also really good for the IP Masquerena, and also we don't mind the discard. Also it's just nice removal, all that stuff, just link climb card. And then finishing up here we have Boral Sword and Appaloosa. Not playing access code here. You easily could. It definitely can come up, I would say. But I think in this deck, like the deck has so much removal and like just like utility that like I don't think you usually need something like access code to finish games. Boral Sword is almost always going to like be doing the same thing for you. So I'm not really afraid of that, to be honest. And then Appaloosa is like a more defensive option. Sometimes you can link climb, and sometimes if you know you can't kill, you'd rather just make something defensive. If you're going to pass it back to your opponent, you know, have some negates to make it so that they can't just like crack back at you and win the duel. Like versus Drytron, it's really good because you just like break their board and then have this, and this can just like negate 1 or 2 Drytrons as they try to like extend back from grave and then you know, make it happen. So yep, that is it for our Burning Abyss deck profile. It's really, really cool, to be honest. I'm a big fan of the deck. Really fun to play if you're a control player and you like those grindy matches. You really like the back and forth with a ton of interaction. This deck is very, very good at that. So yeah, this is the updated list. Hopefully you guys like it. Definitely let me know in the comment section down below what you would change, what you guys are looking at for BA in this format. It's a new format, so it's kind of hard to say, but I don't think it'll be that much different from last format, at least until Burst of Destiny comes out. I just think some of the best decks are slightly hit. Not too hard. Obviously, the ban list was very underwhelming and suck, if you ask me, but you know, some stuff is definitely hit harder, so we will take that all damn day. But that's gonna sum it up for us here today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. As always, subscribe to the channel if you want to see more deck profiles from me down the line, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.